Welcome, football fans. This is the show that brings you all things football. I'm Kwabena. He's Nene. Football Extreme on your screens. Nene, welcome, my man. Welcome. You know how
Welcome,
we
welcome.
do. Yeah, latest
Yes,
installment, we are going to be speaking about the Saudi Pro League and how it is taking all the biggest players in the game at the moment, or trying to take the biggest players in the game. What's your opinion? How you feel about this thing with all the money that the Saudis are throwing in at all the superstars this off season, trying to grab all the big name players?
yes, yeah, no, they've been busy, and it's quite funny the way that they do their acquisitions. It's always one team that goes after a player.
Yeah.
Whereas you'll probably see in Europe or England, there might be like two or three teams chasing one player. But they seem to have a strategy of, if Al Nassr is going after Riyad Mahrez or something, you won't hear Al Hilal also jumping in on the transfer. So they seem to
Mm.
have a way of of targeting players for the league, but then they seem to identify which team would suit that player. Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's quite interesting. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're right, actually, because you never hear that it's having they all having a bidding war. It's like they've all decided, okay, you will go for X, Y, and Z player, and then you guys, Al Ettifaq will go for what's his name, Jordan Henderson, and then Al Hilal will go for these specific players, and then none of them are bidding for players. It's as if it's a whole national way. It's almost like how the Chinese Super League kind of try to draw big players. Back
yeah,
when there was a time when the Chinese league was all of a sudden drawing
yeah.
players with big money moves, and then
Oscar Hulk.
yeah, exactly. And then it came out that the government was helping the Chinese teams or sponsoring them or subsidizing them, trying to get the big name players. And now it looks
Yeah.
like the Saudi league is doing the same thing.
But I think they are doing this the same thing, because I think the four teams there, which are the ones in the headlines, um, are owned by the Sovereign Wealth Fund or something, some
Mm.
investment fund of Saudi or something. So I don't know if they've got like 80% shareholding or 75. I think it's 75% shareholding in all of the teams.
Yeah,
So apparently they have a list of players that they want to bring to the league. So they all sit together and decide, as you said, which player would be suited for which team, and then they also all decide what type of fee and wages that they're gonna offer that player. And then once all those players have been identified, the potential transfer fees they're willing to pay, the potential salaries that they're going to pay them, and then those teams would then go after those players, which is why you wouldn't get um, teams competing against each other for the same player.
yeah.
So yeah, as you said, it's similar to the to the Chinese Super League. I think it's actually the same thing.
Yeah, yeah. But when you look at the money that these guys are trying to, or not even trying to, the money that they are throwing at these players. I mean, Jordan Henderson was tempted with the big money move, and even now, Victor Osimhen, they're throwing something like an offer of £1 million a week wages.
Yeah,
Imagine £1 million a week. I would leave. I would go. I mean, if some company at my day job that's spots me in Saudi Arabia and says, "Here's £1 million a week," I am leaving South Africa in a heartbeat.
yeah,
But yeah, so I mean, some of the
yeah.
players are like, "No, I want to be in, still want to stay in Europe and so forth." But that's the big money that they're throwing it in, and so it's hard to say no to these guys.
Yeah, it is hard because initially they were throwing money at the older players, like like 30 plus, like Karim Benzema, Cristiano
Mm.
Ronaldo, N'Golo Kante, and whatnot. So it's been guys who have been above the age of 30.
Yeah.
But then now, as you mentioned, now they're starting to move for guys that are in their prime. So now that's why there's a bit of a shake-up, because initially it was like, ah, these guys are going after players that are 30, 1 year left in their contracts, not gonna, and those guys are always looking for like 3, 4 year deals,
Yeah.
and no Premier League team or European team offers guys who are 30 plus long-term contracts. So it was like, okay, cool. If you got a player that's age 30 and you need to get rid of him and get a big fee, then off to Saudi.
Off to
But
Saudi.
now,
Mm.
yeah, but now they're starting to also target some guys who are at the peak, and I think that's why now we're like, oh, okay, so these guys are really trying to make the league competitive.
Yeah. Do you
Yeah.
think maybe this season or even in the seasons to come, it's going to end up being a league to watch? Because for a lot of people, and I'm not the same like a lot of people. For a lot of people, things like when Messi moved to France, then a whole lot of people were watching the French league just because Messi was there. A lot of people bought PSG jerseys, but I didn't watch French football anymore now that Messi's there. But now you've got Ronaldo, you've got Riyad Mahrez, you've got Karim Benzema, you've got Sadio Mane now. These are big name players. Like you said, it's not just a 33, 34-year-old who's just at the end of his career. And then a Saudi league is just taking guys who sort of have. Karim Benzema is one of the top strikers in the world, if not one of the top 3 strikers in the world. Obviously, Ronaldo. Now, Riyad Mahrez just won the treble. Sadio Mane has won trophies. And so, does this look like now they're shaping up to be a league that people are going to be watching, whether it be this season or in the next 2 or 3 seasons, where it's going to be one of those top 10 leagues or whatever that people want to watch?
Yeah, look, based on how they're doing things, that's exactly what they want. They want to be one of the top 10 best leagues in the world. So I think they will. And if you're going after the players who have established fan base, I think that's a better way of saying it. If they've got established fan base, then it's going to attract the audience
Yeah,
into the league. And if guys are like 30, 29, 30, 31, which is the age group of most of the guys they've signed, there are guys who have large followings. They play for their national teams, and they've got like a decent fan base following them. So the hope is that some viewers will also follow and watch them play, because they wouldn't go after like a full Foden, for instance, someone that's still
mm,
in their youth, maybe don't have that much of a global presence.
mm,
Like if you
yeah,
look at Sadio Mane,
yeah,
or maybe if you look at Mo Salah or Harry Kane, for instance, where people would wanna follow the player even to another country. So I
yeah,
think once they've established those ambassadors, um, like for instance, Riyad Mahrez is I mean he's one of the best players in Africa. So definitely he's going to be attracting a lot of fans from the African continent to
yeah,
start watching. But I think if the ambassadors, the first batch of players that they've signed, if they are able to lay the foundation, get the world familiar with the league, then other players would also be interested in going there,
yeah,
because at the moment it's all about the money. But I think once these guys start pulling the audience, I think it will be more than just the money,
yeah,
because they're also investing in like infrastructure, youth development. I mean, Gary Neville always complaining about Man United's outdated training facilities and stadium needing to be upgraded and all of that stuff. So they're not gonna have the problem, you know. Everything is state of the art, training facilities, stadiums, food, you know. That's
Yeah,
also the added benefit that will attract a lot of players.
yeah. And I guess
Yeah.
also it won't hurt to actually show professional footballers that, hey, listen, it's not the only road for you to go into the top leagues in Europe and win trophies. There are trophies in every country that has football. So
Yeah.
why should we only decide that Europe and the Champions League is the only way to play football or the only way to get your name out there? So good on you, Saudi League, providing, and also, I mean, come on, these are their day jobs. They got to earn income, and the rest of us that are working day jobs are not turning down money just because you're trying to be prestigious. You are going for that promotion because you know it comes with a raise. You are changing jobs because it comes with a raise. So here are all the teams in the Saudi Pro League offering bags and bags full of money. If I'm a footballer and I'm like, say, 31, 30, and Al Hilal comes to me and says, hey, £800,000 a week, £1 million a week, and my contract is 1 year or 2 years, um, there's going to be, I'm going to be very close to signing. Let's say that. So I
You're
say,
going to sign.
good on them. Because, I mean, look at now, they're even trying to hunt down Kylian Mbappe. I mean, this guy, we all
Yeah.
know what's happening with him and his issues with PSG at the moment. He's got 1 year left on his contract, and the teams in Saudi, the Saudi league are trying to get him to sign, but he's like, "Hey, no dice, I'm staying in Europe."
Yeah, they would. I mean, they even said they would sign him just for a year, and then
Yeah,
he can go to Madrid next year as planned. And they were still willing to pay like ridiculous wages for him to go there just for one season. So you
yeah.
can see, I mean, Mbappe, I mean, he's like massive, massive, massive. So yeah, if they were to get him in his prime, I mean, even I'd watch the Saudi league. Yet I don't watch French football.
It would be crazy. Would be opening up to a whole new country, a whole new teams, and then building up fan bases, as you said. So exposure to a whole lot of new teams, new players, and maybe even just get the Asian continent actually as a whole in terms of football, a little bit of exposure in terms of the Asian version of the Champions League and all of these other things. Yeah,
Yeah,
but I
true.
mean, sticking with the Mbappe thing, I mean, obviously Mbappe, it sounds like he's not even interested in that option of going to the Saudi league. But everyone knows the issues that he's having with PSG at the moment. The fact that it's his last season. At the beginning of this season, it's his last season of his contract, and PSG are literally trying to force him to sign an extension. And he's
Yeah,
saying, no, guys, we've been down this road before. I told you at the end of this season, I'm leaving. And then they're like, no, 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 you need to sign an extension. We're not letting you leave for free. So you better leave now then so that we can get money for you. And he's like, no,
yeah.
guys, I'm just going to sit and wait for the end of my contract. So what you make of that, or what's your angle on the story?
This one is quite funny. It's classic legal screw up
Yeah,
because he was about to go to Madrid last year
yeah,
and they came up with this offer of giving him like €1 million a week and all the other influential powers that he had in the team. And it was supposed to be a 2 year contract, and the player has the option to extend. Now that
yes,
doesn't make sense. He was about to leave, okay?
yes.
You stopped him, and then you include a clause that say he must decide that he wants to add another third year. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. Like he was leaving, and what you should have the option. The club must have the option to extend, not the player, because the player was on his way out.
Yeah,
So that's the first problem. So he was never going to sign for the third year anyway.
yeah,
Like he knew it when he signed the contract and they inserted the clause that he was never going to activate that clause.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you talk about classic screw up, I mean, like they moved heaven and earth to make sure he stays at
Yes.
PSG.
And then they
When
gave him the power.
and then they just gave him the power because they gave him a huge pot of gold, and then they said, "Stay. Look at all this money we're gonna give you, and then we're gonna give you all this power. That you're gonna have more power than the coach. You're gonna have more power than every other player. You're literally gonna almost be an owner in this club. That's how much power we want to give you, and you're gonna have an option to lead, to stay or go." And they also put in some loyalty bonus kind of thing, where if he
Yes.
stays
Yes.
until the last year of his contract, his salary
Yes.
is gonna go up. So he's like, oh, well, okay. So if I stay to the beginning of the 2023 season, I'm going to get a huge pay hike just for being
Yes.
here. And then I'm still
Yes.
going to walk away at the end of the contract 12 months later.
Yes.
Obviously, I'm going to stay all that money. And
Yes.
now they're crying foul, saying, no, you have to sign on the contract or you have to leave now. I have no
Yes.
reason to leave. I don't have to be forced to sign another contract in another team just so you can make money because you guys now only realize now how much power you gave. I want that money,
Yep.
guys. Bring it, bring it, bring it.
Yes.
Kylian Mbappe, take your
Exactly.
money, boy.
And that's exactly what he's doing. He's saying, I'm staying and I'm
Yeah,
not signing an extension. So now they're like, okay, cool. We're gonna sell you then if you want to sign, but nobody is gonna buy him
yeah,
because nobody is gonna pay the fee when they know that they're gonna get him for free, you
yeah,
know? And
yeah,
it's not like he's like 31 or he's some old player where you need to get him now, where he's gonna win you the league.
yeah,
I mean, next year he can even sign a 6-year contract with Madrid. Like,
yeah,
there's just no rush. Everything is on his side. His
yeah,
age,
yeah,
everything is like, as I said, the lawyers, huge mess up.
yeah,
Yeah. Because
yeah.
when the Saudi team approached them, I think it was like 300 million euros or something. And they agreed to accept the fee. But then Mbappe was like, stuff you, bro. I'm staying here. I'm not going to Saudi. I'm staying.
Yeah.
And then
He,
Madrid, because another thing, Madrid is clever because last season it seemed like he was going to Madrid, right? Everything
yeah.
was like done.
Yes. Yes.
And then Madrid is like, I think they're still pissed off by what PSG did. So it's payback, you know.
Yes.
You knew last season the players coming, and then you went and gave him a ridiculous offer and he
Yeah.
stayed. So we also now getting our
Yeah.
revenge.
Getting
We're
our
gonna
revenge,
wait.
and now we're just gonna get him for free 2 years down the line after you paid him a bucket load of money, and all you
Yeah,
won was the French league in the
which
two
you would have
seasons,
won anyway.
which you would have won anyway. And us as Real Madrid, we've won one Champions League without him. And then fine, they didn't win anything this season. But now next season, they're gonna do what they need to do. They're gonna wait. His contract will end. And for those of you that don't know, in European football, a lot of these guys, when they're in their last season of their contract, and the season usually starts in August or September, in the January transfer window, the guy can sign a contract in January that says that in June I am coming to your team. And they're fully allowed and nobody can stop that. Meaning, when the January transfer window comes this year, he's still a PSG player until June, but he can sign with Madrid in January. That's
Yes,
what he's intending to do right now. He's telling PSG that from the beginning that, listen, guys, I'm not signing the extension. I am going in 12 months. As my contract says, I am leaving. And PSG says, no, we want to make money out of you, so you better leave now. And he's like,
Mm.
I can sit and chill. There's no way,
Yes.
there's no reason I need to go. You can't force me unless I get another pot of gold where I'm going. Bigger than the pot of gold you've already given me here. And Madrid is like, we'll just chill and wait until June. We don't need
Yeah.
to now.
Yeah. Yeah. And apparently, so let's hypothetically now. Okay, so he goes to Madrid. Number 7 is taken, jersey
Yeah.
number.
Yes.
Number 11 is taken.
Yes. Number 10 is taken.
Number 10 is taken,
Yeah.
which is Modric.
Yeah.
So now apparently Adidas is saying, well, someone has to shift here. Because he's not going to get some crap number. He has to get one of these numbers, yeah. So number 7, Vinny Jr. seems to have a check. But number 10, Modric, plus 30, maybe he's going to be the one that will have to make way and give up the number 10. They
You
just wanted
see,
to throw that in there.
So the crazy thing is with that, like in American sports, like what I've heard, and when I started following American basketball and all these other leagues, is that when players move teams, like they're really attached to their numbers, and they have high numbers in American sports. A guy can wear number 70 or number 59 or whatever it is. Those guys, they pay each other. So if I'm always number 3 in all of my teams, and I go to your team and you're the big fish in the team, and you and I wear the same number, I'm gonna say, Nene, I'll pay you 100K to give me number 3.
Okay.
Yeah, well, because obviously you're not just gonna be like, hey, Quabs, here's your number 3 jersey, and then tell the whole world that I'm bigger than you by giving me your number. You're gonna be like, you want this jersey? Pay me. And then I'll be like, okay, Nene, here, 100K. And I heard that that's what happens in American sports. The guys pay the dudes for their jersey numbers. Because the guy comes as a big fish. He's always number 7, and he's the league winner or whatever. And he comes to the other team, and he's going to be the big fish, but there's another guy wearing number 7. And that guy's going, I'm not giving my number. Because I've been in this team for all this time. And then it's like, okay, cool. Here, 20,000, bro. Here, or however much it's going to be. What does that
Yes.
number? What does that jersey number cost you? You see. So yeah, you're right. So if Mbappe wants one of
Mbappe.
those jersey numbers, I mean Modric, I'm sure Modric is not just going to give up number 10 just like that. Never.
I know it's yeah, it's a tough one, but I mean, he probably only has like 1 season left.
Yeah.
So maybe they will ask Mbappe, okay, cool, you can wear the other number, you can get the number 10 after. But the thing is, if he is coming, the jersey sales are gonna skyrocket. He's
Yeah.
not gonna get a temporary number, you know.
Yeah.
He has to
True.
get the number, you know.
The number.
And as I said, yeah, these numbers they are all
So
taken.
Vinny Jr.'s got number 7.
Yeah,
Luka Modric's got number 10. But wait, who's wearing number 9? Who's wearing number 9
I
at
think it's what Angus, the number 9 one must be available because that was
That's the
Benzema's
one
number.
Benzema was wearing. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So Benzema's number 9 is available. Yeah. Okay. Maybe he'll take number 9. But I mean, what does he wear for France? He wears number 10.
Yeah, he was number 10. For
He wears
PSG, he
number
was
10 for
number 10.
France, and
Yeah.
PSG he wears number 10. Okay. So that's Luka
Yeah.
Modric. All right.
Yeah,
Let's
so
see.
Modric
Let's
is
see.
in trouble.
That's up to them to decide. That's up to them. Okay, moving on. Well, so we've got Mbappe and his transfer issues, and then one other transfer, big one, is Harry Kane. So exact same problem, well, not exact same,
Yes.
but similar issue is Harry Kane. One last season left in his contract, and Spurs have been holding on to him like crazy. And now they're starting to look at offers because now Harry Kane has probably finally found his voice and told these guys, "I want to go."
Yeah.
What's happening there with Harry Kane?
Okay, so Harry Kane, when Man City was chasing him for 120, 130 million plus, they should have sold him. They should have cashed in at
Yes.
the time.
Yeah.
But now he's not signing a contract extension. And apparently Tottenham doesn't want to sell to another Premier League team.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if he can't be sold to Man United or Chelsea now, he's just going to walk for free next year. And that's obviously going to anger the Tottenham hierarchy even more.
Yeah.
So they're trying to sell him on to, I think Bayern Munich seems to be interested.
Yeah.
But Bayern Munich, I mean, let's be honest, right? Like, nonsense aside, that Spurs has said, we are not going to sell to any other Premier League club. And
Yes.
Bayern Munich is the only team that is interested.
Yes.
Why would they pay 50, 60, 80, 100 million for him with 1 year left when they
One year
know
left.
that they're the only ones who are interested? I mean,
Exactly.
I just
It's
don't understand it. Like,
Kylian Mbappe again. It's Kylian
yeah,
Mbappe again without the option and without all the drama of saying sign here because other the difference between Kane and Mbappe is that this happened 2 years ago. Oh, that's actually exactly the same thing. 2 years
yeah,
ago, Mbappe's issues thing with Real Madrid and he was almost gone. Kane and Man City wanted Kane that badly. They gave a 130 million bid. Harry Kane didn't pitch for training until 2 weeks later. He covered it all
yeah,
up saying, I was playing for England and so I was taking extra holidays. Yeah, right. You didn't want to come back to Spurs and you waited as long as possible and then you couldn't wait anymore. You went back to training when you realized the Man City deal is not happening. But now Bayern Munich is saying we've spoken to Kane, which I don't understand since it's apparently against the rules to speak to the player before the team has said yes, you can. So I don't understand how all these stories about we've spoken to him. Bayern Munich is telling the whole world we've already spoken to Kane and he's given us his word he's going to sign with us. But Tottenham Hotspur hasn't agreed on a fee yet. They
mm,
haven't agreed on a fee, they haven't agreed on anything, and yet they're saying we've spoken to Kane and he's going to sign. Spurs haven't said speak to the player, and Spurs haven't accepted an offer yet.
yeah,
So there's another one where if Kane waits for another 12 months, he can sign with whoever he wants.
yeah,
But if I'm Kane, well, if this was my decision, I'd be like, I want Munich to make sure this deal happens now because I don't want to sit here and waste another year. He's wasted 2 years, let's say, because of the whole Man City deal. Now Man City got what's his name? Haaland. Haaland came in
yes,
and made Man City bulletproof. That was supposed to be Harry Kane's team. That was supposed to be Harry Kane in there wearing the number 9 jersey or the
winning the
number
Champions
10
League.
if he, with the Champions League and a league and an FA Cup, a treble in his first season. That was supposed to be Kane. But alas, Spurs held on to him. Now they're going to be in the same position like PSG with the crown jewel player about to walk for nothing and a potential deal happening. But the other team can just sit and wait. Just sit and
Yes.
wait until
And
January and then sign.
and that's the thing. I mean, if you know the scenario, like if you buy Munich, you're gonna make it a deadline day signing. You're
Yeah,
not gonna do it now. You're gonna wait and let these guys drop the price, drop the price, drop the price until you get it to like 40 million or whatever.
yeah,
Because if they are that desperate for him not to walk for free next year, if come deadline day he's still a Spurs player, then they have no choice but to sell him on the cheap, or
yeah.
they're gonna lose him for free.
They're going to lose him for
So
free. Mm,
this situation is messed up, but it favors the player.
yeah,
And I
absolutely.
think he deserves it because they screwed him over for the Man City move. Because
Yeah,
apparently there was an agreement that if the right offer comes,
they're
they
going
will
to accept
accept.
it.
And that offer of 130 million was more than enough. They should have
Yeah.
accepted it. And now it seems like he's trying to screw them now by not signing. But actually, they screwed him 2 years ago.
2 years ago. Yeah.
Paid him
And
like
now
he's
look.
a yeah.
Yeah. So let's see. So Kane and Mbappe are the two big transfer stories. The Saudi Premier League or Saudi Pro League is trying to grab all the big superstars out of Europe and into their league and make everyone watch football in Asia. Let's see. Football fans, this has been another episode of Football Extreme, the show that brings you all things football. I'm Quabs.
Yeah.
He's Nene. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We're going to see you in the next one. Nene, what are your parting words?
The Saudi Pro League is here to stay. And yeah, we should we should give it some. Yeah, we shouldn't write it off like the Chinese league. And it could be a threat in the coming future. And so Harry Kane and Mbappe, yeah, man, this is how players should do their deals, Fit. I mean, this is awesome, Fit. I can't. This is like a soapy, Fit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we just either way, the players are going to benefit from this thing, which is good. This is what we want. Yeah. That's it from my side.
Yeah. Power to the people. Power to the people. All right, football fans. See you in the next one. The Premier League is coming up next week. So there's more videos coming in. So stay tuned. Subscribe to our channel. More content's coming from Football Extreme. See you in the next one.
Cheers.